Hello, welcome. It is Monday, July 31st, 2023. My name is Chris Reimer, and we are here with another edition of Testing the Equipment. What's going on? Well, we had about 5 people in here, five employees talking, and they were kind of just doing their thing. While I was finishing up payroll for the restaurant. And, oh, hold on. Yeah, you know what that is. It's my day off. And so they were just going, and that will not be posted on, I don't think they're going to post that on Testing the Equipment because they were really going, they were going hard on some topics. Maybe they will. Maeve will be the one who will be editing that. And she's also going to, we did our first Off the Menu podcast, which you can find over on the Off the Menu portion of, I guess this menu or whatever. And it's going to be on our Instagram as well, the Stacked Social Instagram. So I just wanted to come on and talk about like a weekly update, which I still have to do for the video portion, the weekly update. We had a really good week here at the restaurant. The weather was, man, was it hot. It was ridiculously hot during the week. Like, the heat indexes were hundreds. It was in the high 90s, even this close to the lake. It was ridiculously hot. And so nobody was sitting outside for about 3 days. And then we had some really crazy storms, but that's all gone. And the weather was nice. Yesterday and Saturday, our patio was packed. It was wonderful. Staff did a great job. Kitchen killed it. Wonderful, wonderful job. Couldn't be happier with the way things were going for this past week. Could we be busier? Yes, love to be busier. We would love more people here in the restaurant. But irregardless, it is what it is. This is not a busy time of year, believe it or not, for us. We get through August and then September, and that's when we start really taking off again. So as far as myself and the others, well, like I said, there was 5 other people that were here, and they were all talking. Maeve just got back. I wish she would have stuck around. They all had to leave because they all have things they got to do. She just got back from her trip to the West Coast, and we had other people that are leaving, moving, and so forth. It's interesting with being the general manager or a manager here, and any job really. But for me here at this restaurant, we opened in 2019, and I hired a bunch of people. Mostly college and high school kids. A couple of them were 14, 15 years old, had to get work permits and stuff like that. And one gal came in, her name is Jillian Brown, and she, great personality, just wanted a job, never worked in a restaurant before. And she said, I have friends, you might come in. Yeah, they all came in. Literally, she single-handedly staffed this restaurant with her and her friends. And it's been, ever since that, it's been somebody who knows somebody, they bring them in, and it just keeps going. The baton keeps getting passed down, which is great. Now, the bad side of that is, they're 14, 15 years old. They work here a couple years, and then they leave. And then there's this void, and some things just can't be replaced. The energy, I can't even think right now. Just what they bring to the restaurant, the spirit, the great attitude, just fantastic. And then to see him leave, I kind of feel like I'm not a parent. I don't have kids, but I can't imagine when your kid leaves to go to college or to leave home and that void that's there. It's got to be kind of painful because, quite frankly, there are a couple times I started crying because it was like, oh my God, these guys, I'm never going to see them again. And they come back and visit, or like when they are here for the summer or they're on break, they want to work here, and they do. And that's great because they really loved working here, and they really brought a lot to the success of the restaurant. I mean, gosh, we've been open since 2019. Every year, we have gotten busier and busier and busier. Our sales go up every single year. That is a wonderful thing, especially through COVID and through everything that's happened, recession things in this area. It's just an amazing task. And yeah, we have great food. It's wonderful, but I really believe it's our staff that has kept bringing people back. Look at our reviews on Google and wherever else. You know, they always say how friendly and upbeat the staff is, you know. And that's important. You know, you have to be able to, when people walk in here, they have to feel that energy, that vibe, that it's a very inviting place. And again, I've been very lucky to have the staff that I've had. And they buy into it and they execute it. And it's not forced. You know, it's just who they are. You know, these bubbly, smiley, cheerful people. Never worked in a restaurant before. Many of them never even mopped or swept or done any kind of cleaning, anything in their life. And they just dive into it with both feet. It's just so great and so rewarding. And again, I couldn't be luckier. It's not all, you know, it's not all roses. Obviously, there are times where it's very frustrating and things don't go according to plan. And I have to realize that, you know, I am working with younger people and there is a generational gap, you know. I mean, just in the few years we've been open, the verbiage and the context and things in the landscape of what goes on has changed dramatically, you know, and they constantly remind me and teach me and tell me and help me to learn and understand that gap. So, I mean, again, you know, I'll say something like, "You can't say that anymore. That's you can't use that term anymore. You can't talk like that anymore. You can't." And I'm like, "Whoa, okay, great, thank you." You know, I mean, myself at my age, I have to constantly be learning and be open to be told what's right, what's wrong, whatever. So it's a good thing for me. It kind of keeps me young, I think. I'm kind of a goof anyways. Everybody knows if you know me, you know, so it's nice. And it's a nice little challenge, to be honest with you. It's a challenge to kind of just come in and have that positive attitude and be upbeat and hold these guys accountable for that same kind of thing. You know, lead by example and have them follow. And then I get out of the way, and then it's theirs. They do it. So. But again, there are those days, you know, you come in, you're like, you know, you're just not feeling it. But it's funny how they will be quick to remind you, or they will point out, or something happens that just turns it around like that, just right away, and you're feeling great about it. So, yeah, yeah. So I love coming in here on Mondays. We're closed, and hopefully this podcast will get some legs. I'm not expecting anything huge to happen. As far as the off the menu for the restaurant, I do want that to be a hit. I want that to catapult us and to create more business and interest in the restaurant. And there are a ton of things we can do, which I'm very, very excited about. And that can be discussed on that podcast. Having guests, you know, special guests come in from Northwestern, be it athletes, coaches, people that work in the, you know, even the president of the university, people from Evanston city government, people on the street here, the community. You know, Noyce has a lot of businesses that you know, we need to bring attention to, and that'll all be on the Off the Menu podcast. Just a very what's it like to work in a restaurant? What's a restaurant all about? But more of a business and just kind of opening the door or pulling the curtain back behind life in a restaurant and what it's really all about. Because people get a perception, sure, the TV shows, and I've said this before, you know, there are the shows on there, Hell's Kitchen or all the kitchen cooking shows or The Bear, which is a huge hit, you know, and people are like, oh, that's how it is to work in a, well, yes and no. You know, yes and no. Everything's kind of relative. There's yes and no. So anyway, that's what the off the menu is going to be, stacked and folded off the menu. Again, our first podcast was today, and that will be posted soon. So stay tuned for that, and that'll be available off the Instagram. Of course, it is going to be on all the platforms, Spotify, Google. You'll be able to hear it on those platforms as well. So switching gears here, let's take it to some things I just want to talk about. I have, and this is not whining. It's going to sound like whining, so I apologize in advance. I'm not whining. This is a fact. I really haven't had a vacation in a while. It's been a while. Yes, I left Stacked and Folded in 2021 for 9 months. And that's a different conversation, which we can get into. I needed to leave. And I did. And being so close by, I'd stop in and see the restaurant and see what's going on. And it just got to the point where I was just like, oh my God, and things happened and they needed another manager. So I met with Josh and Tara, and they asked if I'd be interested in coming back. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, this is not good what's going on here. The restaurant it was just not being run correctly. It wasn't being managed. How about that? It was not being managed the way it needed to be managed. I used to work with this guy, and he'd say, the asylums are running the inmates are running the asylum, or the tail's wagging the dog, or whatever. And that's kind of what it was. There was no management happening. It was some kids that they had put in charge, and no offense, they did a great job. It's just that a lot of things were falling through the cracks. Cleanliness, ordering, just general business. The hospitality aspect was kind of slipping a little bit. Things that, guests notice when they come in. So anyway, back to the original thing. I haven't had really a vacation, especially since I came back. I have not had a vacation. And I'm going to be going on a vacation. Get on a plane and go away. And this is the big thing. I'm going back to Southern California, where I lived for 28 plus years, and going back to Newport Beach, where I'm going back for a couple of reasons. One, I want to spread my parents' ashes out there because they lived there for a while. They lived in 3 separate places, and I want to spread them in those places. And then also at the beach they used to love going to, Little Corona they'd always go to. And I have friends out there, so I'll see them. I have not been back there since 2008, I believe. 2008, 2009. I moved back here in 2007. And so I went back a couple times then, and then I have not been back since. Have I? No. Have I? No. Oh, I went. I did. I flew in for a day for an interview. Believe it or not, a company flew me out there for a day for an interview, and then I had to fly back that same day. Ridiculous, right? Yeah. Literally flew there, interview, got back on the plane, and flew back home here, Illinois. But I haven't spent any time there, especially in Newport, which is where I lived for the majority of the time. And I'm really, it was mixed. I usually go to Florida because we used to go to Florida a lot when I was a kid, and I'd stay at the same hotel we'd stay at. But this time I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go to Southern California, and Newport. So I'm kind of excited about it. I'm going to see some friends, which I'm excited about. Some I haven't seen. Some I haven't seen in 20 years. Believe it or not, when we were working on the Rusty Pelican, and so it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about it. Be there for a few days. Got to rent a car so I can drive around because traffic in Southern California sucks, as we all know. It's terrible. But one of the places my folks used to live was in Laguna Woods, which is Laguna Niguel area, and it's a Leisure World property. I think it's still there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. It was huge. It is a secured entrance. There's a guard there, and so I'm going to have to try to explain myself to let me in to go where they used to live and spread their ashes like on the bushes around the house or whatever. They lived in a great place. That place was awesome. It was right on top of this valley, and when the windows were open, you just had this wonderful fragrance of the flowers that were growing on the hills there. It was, and this nice breeze that came through, and they were on the end of the street, so there was nothing else. It was just where they were. It was just a valley and a hill behind them. So like all these critters would walk by at night and everything, and it was just an awesome, awesome place that they lived at. So anyway, yeah, Southern California. That's in a couple weeks. This week, one of our managers is going away on a personal thing, and then next week, the other manager is going to be gone. So next week's going to be a hell week. I'm telling you right now, it's just going to be a hell week for me. Just working the 6 days, and I'm opening every day, which is not a big deal. I don't mind opening at all. In fact, I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, it'll be 6 days solid, and then I'll leave and I'll go away. So I'm pedal to the metal, pushing through for that week, and when I'm done on that Sunday, go home, pack, and go. I'm not leaving Sunday. I'm leaving Monday, I think. Right? Jeez, I don't even know my plane flying that leaves. But yeah, so I'll sleep. It's a morning flight, so I leave here somewhat early. It's the time change and everything, and I will get there, sleep on the plane. It's such a long ride. And flying in at Orange County, John Wayne, SNA, get the rent-a-car, and shoot right over. It's going to be so weird driving around, man. God, just all the places. It'll probably be like I never left. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I mean, I lived there for so long, and that was life. That was it. I never was going to leave there, ever. Ever was I going to leave Southern California. And then my folks moved back here in the early 2000s, and then I'm like, okay, I have to come back here and move back. My parents are here. They're getting older. I don't want to be 4,000 miles away and something happened. So then that's when I moved back in 2007. But I'm telling you, and maybe you guys can relate to this if you're still listening, yay. But that drive, when I finally moved, I made a decision to move, and I got a job with McCormick and Schmick's, which was actually a really great job, to be honest with you. It was good. They paid really well, and everything. It was a great opportunity. It was a great challenge, great learning. That's a whole nother conversation. That was an amazing thing. But I packed, I had my stuff. They came and got it, moved away, and then I left and got my car and drove. And I'll never forget, I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm driving, first stop, I go, and I think I stopped like in Denver or Vail or something like that. I drove straight to there, and I stopped that night. Got up the next day, get in the car, drive, You go down, 80, you go down, and then you hit Kansas or whatever. Driving, nighttime, and all of a sudden, when I hit Iowa, I freaked out. Just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm leaving my life behind in Southern California. All my friends, everybody, everything that I've known, I'm leaving it. And I literally just started like panicking, and I pulled off the road, and I started crying and freaking out. And so I called home. And this is where parents, man, I'm telling you, this is where I miss my mom and dad sometimes. I called, and my mom answered, and she goes, oh, dear, and she was very nice. And then she just passed the phone to my dad. And I'm telling you, amazing. My dad says to me, look, I understand you're scared. I understand you're freaking out. Totally normal. This is a big change. But look, you're here. It doesn't work out. You move back. You can always go back. It's not a big thing. You're here. We're looking forward to you coming. We're looking forward to having you here. But if it doesn't work out and this isn't the right thing, you can always go back. That world's not dying. It's not going anywhere. It'll be there whenever you want it. And he just talked me off the ledge, like unbelievable. And I never had a moment with him like that before, where he just literally calmed me down, and I could feel his embrace over the phone. I could feel him just like hugging me and making me feel so much better, which, man, it was incredible. And when he was near the end of his life, we thought he was going to go, and we were in the hospital, and he looked at me and grabbed my hand and told me how proud he was of me. And he never really ever said that before. You know, my parents never really understood why I got into restaurants, what the allure was with working in the restaurants, what kind of a job, whatever. But when he grabbed my hand and he looked at me and he said, Beezer, I'm really, really proud of you and I love you. And I lost it. Talk about memories flooding your head. I had to turn away and I just started crying. And, you know, I miss you, Dad. I miss you too, Mom. So that's why I need to go spread their ashes out there. Whether you believe that stuff or not, I don't know. But I think they'd appreciate that. So anyway. Yeah, okay. That's a lot to unpack. Anyway, a little bit about me. If you don't know me, you don't. You never heard of me. I've been working in restaurants since I was 16. My first restaurant job was at a place called, and this is a real place, they were a chain across the country. It's called Little Black Sambo's. It's like a Denny's. And I worked there. I got hired as a dishwasher because I wanted to buy a new bike. And my dad said, you have to earn it. I'm not going to buy another bike. Because the bike I had got stolen. Second time. I got a bike, got stolen. And then they gave me another bike, and it got stolen. This time my dad's like, look, you want a bike, you got to buy it. And I wanted a 10-speed, one of those big, nice 10-speed with the Ram, a Schwinn Continental with the Ram, with the round handlebars, you know. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you got to get a job. So I got a job washing dishes. I think I got $1.10 an hour. I was called a DMO, dish machine operator. And you were also the bus boy, and you had to vacuum the whole restaurant and clean and do all this stuff. And it was great because other people from my high school worked there, and people that I never would have, the whole social class thing in high schools, you know, the cliques and stuff like that. You know, you don't even talk to these people in school, but we worked together at this restaurant, and they would acknowledge me, and they would talk to me. And I'm like, whoa. And then finally, we get to school, they would actually say hi to me and stuff like that. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. And the interaction with everybody. And then the couple of cooks like, hey, come on up here, help us out, and here, make some soup. And one thing led to another. And I'm like, wow, this is really great, And then when I went to college, I got a job at a pizza place. My sister already worked there. I went to the same college my sister. I know, Western Illinois University, the Fighting Leathernecks of Western Illinois University. It was called Aurelio's Pizza, which is down in Macomb. Of course, they're real famous here in Chicago. Great pizza, by the way. And I got hired there as a, dishwasher. And I was this summer. I went down in the summer, and I was washing dishes, and it was all by hand. There was no machine. You had to do everything by hand. And then, Jimmy Buick was the owner, and he was a great guy. Took really good care of me and everybody. He took great care of the staff. He was a wonderful owner. A little bit of a hothead sometimes, but the guy his heart was in the right place. And then, I moved up and I started making sauces and things like that. And then I got to move up and I started cooking pizzas. But no, you had to start on the dough roller. So you had to roll the dough out first for everything and put them all in the pans before you got to actually cook. And then you didn't actually cook first. You had to go and you had to build the pizzas. So you had to put the sauce and all the ingredients and everything like that. And you had to know everything by heart, the different numbers. I think there was 1 through 20 or 1 through 30 types of pizzas, and you had to know them all. And so the orders would come in, and then you finally got to cook. So it was good. And I worked there for 3 years, I think, at the pizza place, and it was fantastic. I realized college was not my thing. I stopped going to school, and at that point, my parents said, "Well, if you're not going to go to school anymore, we're not going to." They used to send me like a weekly allowance or whatever, or monthly, whatever it was. They send me a check for expenditures and things. they said, well, if you're not going to school, then we're not going to send you. So you have to earn your. So I stopped going to school and I worked at the pizza place and moved into this apartment. I moved off, I wasn't going to school, so I couldn't stay in the dorms anymore. And it was $55 a month was the rent. I had a room in this house, and then I worked at the pizza place. And then I worked there for about, after I quit college, I was there for about another 6 months, maybe 8 months, 10 months, and decided, at that time my parents were in California. Long story short, when I graduated high school, my dad got accepted a job out in California. So yeah, I followed my parents to California, truth be told. And so I moved, put everything in boxes. My dad came, got me. We flew to California. Did not know anybody but my mom and dad. Nobody. And started going to Orange Coast College and taking classes there. And so did my mom, believe it or not. We went and registered together. She was taking art classes, which she loved. Her teacher was Donna something. Was her name Donna? Anyway, my mom loved it, taking these art classes. And I was taking classes for broadcasting and just general stuff. And realized that I was 21 years old and living at home with mom and dad in Southern California in 1981. This is, by the way, 1981. I graduated high school in 1978. So there's your time span. I can't. So I wanted to move out, but I needed a job. So I saw an ad in the paper, and they were opening a new restaurant in Irvine, and they were hiring, and it was a job fair. Come on down. So I went in there and filled out the application, was waiting. There were 2 trailers, and there was a whole bunch of people. Like, it was huge. And I go in, and I sit down, and the gentleman interviews me. His name is Dick Watson. And he goes, Chris Reimer, yeah. I said, so you have really no real experience what are you applying for? And I said, a cook. And he goes, okay, well, you worked at a pizza place? I said, yeah, that's about it. He goes, and I'm like, oh, this is not going well. I couldn't answer any questions about cooking or anything like that. And they're like, you're perfect. You're perfect. When can you start? I mean, what? Wait, what? And they're like, yeah, you're exactly what we need. You have no bad habits. You have no prior knowledge. We will teach you everything you need to know. That company is called the Rusty Pelican. And I spent the next 11 years of my life working for that company. 7 of them as a cook and the rest as a server in the front of the house. That's a whole nother conversation because I went around the country and I opened restaurants. I became good at what I did, believe it or not, as a cook. I was so good. They wanted me to go around and open restaurants and train new people. And that's what I did for majority of my time with them. I went around and opened restaurants. I think I opened 14 restaurants for them, traveling all across the country. You spend about 2-3 months at each location, at each restaurant. Sometimes you had to go back a few months later to help get things going. And in between openings, I got to work with the corporate chef and implement new menu items. And I traveled around and would go to the restaurants and show everybody how to do the new items. There was a bunch of different things we were adding to the menu. So I'd be the one that would take everything and show everybody how to do it. It was a lot. I mean, talk about, wow, that's just a whole nother chapter of just like unbelievable lifestyle. The people that I met, and then a lot of these people I'm going to see in 3 weeks in Southern California because a lot of them are still there. They actually had a reunion last year for the Rusty Pelican of all these people, and I didn't go because I'm a dumb shit. I'm an idiot because I should have gone. All these guys went there, and I saw the pictures. I'm like, oh my God, look at all these guys. I know all these freaking people. And so it'll be fun to go back and see a few of them in a couple weeks. So anyway, coming up on a half an hour, I think that's enough chatter for me. If you have listened to this and you find it interesting, I appreciate it. And let me know. Leave a comment if you can. Email, I guess. Should I give an email? I should need to set up an email for this. Testing the equipment. Gmail or something like that. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I have a lot of stories. I got a lot of restaurant stories. I got a lot of stories about things that just have happened. Maybe you can relate to them. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're bored. You just want something to listen to. It's not going to be political. It's not going to be it's, oh my God, that's amazing. But wow. Yeah. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Again, today is Monday, July 31st. This is Testing the Equipment. My name is Chris Reimer. Thank you very much if you listened to this. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.